Now, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As the final one of the January transfer window of this series is the Celtic transfer talk. A couple of things to cover in this. Maybe a shorter episode than usual, not much to talk about as we just wrap up the transfer window, wrap up what Celtic done. And it has been a very eventful 24 hours for Celtic, to say the least. You know, there's been players linked to leave the club and it has been madness. It really has been. So where do we start? We start with the elephant in the room, of course, and that was the whole business with Moussa Dembele going to Chelsea. Now that is gone, it's done now, it is over. Moussa Dembele looked to confirm it himself on Twitter earlier, if you haven't seen it, putting up the photo of him and Leonardo DiCaprio from The Wolf of Wall Street. If you've seen The Wolf of Wall Street, you'll get the photo. Basically, he's not leaving. Moussa Dembele confirming that he's not going to leave. Apparently was down in talks to Sky Sports anyway. He arrived back in Glasgow today, so it is confirmed that he had talks with Chelsea, I think, but he is staying at Celtic by the looks of things, which is great. When I heard that news last night that Chelsea were offering the £34 million, my original thought that came in my head was that's it, it's over, Dembele's gone, because, I mean, it could have been obviously lies, it could have been a story made up by the Daily Record, the Sun, whatever tabloid you like, just to, you know, get the scales up and all this for Celtic fans, but no, it was a genuine story by the looks of things. Chelsea bidding £34 million, and £34 million, bite your arm off, as Chris Sutton said about Craig Gordon, bite your arm off and take that. £34 million is an absolute bargain, I think. I mean, Dembele has been fantastic, but £34 million, is it really worth that? Is it really worth £34 million? What do you think? Because I don't think he's worth £34 million, and if you're getting offered that, take it, get rid of him. We can use that money to just buy in a striker who's going to score goals. Obviously we want a striker that's great at that sort of level that Dembele is in Europe, because we've seen in Europe how good Dembele can be, and that might be difficult to find a replacement that's good to that sort of standard, but if you're getting £34 million or somebody out there, you're going to find. So Dembele looks to be staying, which I'm chuffed about. I didn't want him to leave, but the money was too high to turn down. Obviously Celtic said they wanted at least £40 million, but I think that might have been pushing the envelope. If they'd been offered £34 million and asking for 40, you know, there's not really much of a difference in Celtic's, you know, like finances and Celtic's, you know, expectations. They're not going to get any more than 40 anyway, so go for the 34, and that's what they must have done for Dembele, get the talks. But he will be staying at Celtic, which is good to see. I'm very happy that he will not be leaving the club in January. I mean, he probably will go in the summer by the looks of things if these kind of things keep up, because there was links with him obviously with West Ham earlier in the transfer windows, talks with him now with obviously Chelsea, and apparently Arsene Wenger is interested also in signing him. So, I mean, by the looks of things, we won't have him come this time next season, but as long as we can keep him at the club would be great. If we could keep him here 1-2 full seasons, that'd be great. I'm glad he gets to finish off the season, though. It would have been gutting to see him go just 6 months in, but that just shows how good Moussa Dembele has really been for Celtic. He has been terrific, there's no denying that. He has been out of this world for us, and really a top quality player. Going to be linked with those sorts of moves, and I'm just glad he's staying. Let's just get out of the way. The other one, Chelsea, trying to raid us by the looks of things. Craig Gordon, we heard days ago, heading to Chelsea, all the rest of it. £4 million, once again, a 34-year-old, £4 million, go, just do it. I mean, I love Craig Gordon, I've expressed that before, I really do like Craig Gordon, but if you're getting £4 million for a 34-year-old keeper, along with £34 million for Dembele, that's £40 million almost, to bring in 2 replacements. You could do that every day of the week. But even just the £4 million itself, we could find a replacement keeper, no bother. In all honesty, I didn't want him to leave, but for that money, once again, you've got to, in my opinion, you've got to take it, because you're never going to get that offer again at one time. But Celtic did, in fact, turn down the offers. Rodgers was pretty confident of keeping him at the club and pretty certain that he was going to keep him at the club, and it looks as though he has. Chelsea are keeping Asmir Begovic from the last thing I heard, so Gordon, another player that's staying. A lot of these big talks for moves away have fell through, so there's no worry for us as Celtic fans that Dembele, Gordon or rest are going to leave the club anymore, although there still is a good, 4 hours left of deadline day. Things could easily change. For all we can know, Dembele might actually say, do you know what, 4 up Chelsea, I'll go. But I really doubt that. That's not going to happen. But I'm just making the point, anything can still happen. But the big transfers that they were talking about look to be all but fell through. Nothing should be happening on the outs on a major scale anyway. Players that are still, you know, talks about leaving. Nadir Chief G's been floating around. Effie Ambrose been floating around as well, and there was one other guy, but I cannot remember. I think it was Logan Bailey. All three players who are still in talks of leaving, but those deals have got to be wrapped up pretty soon if they're going to go. Talking about Effie Ambrose, we're still waiting for him to go to Bastia. I believe that there's talk on Sky Sports that will be completed by tonight, whether it is or not. It's a completely different story. If he does go, then I mean, it doesn't affect us. He's not sat on the bench even once this season. So, I mean, he's played for the club for a long time. He's been a good servant, hats off to him in all those respects. But he is a player who wasn't of the best standard, in my opinion. We had to get rid of him. And if he's going to Bastia, best of luck with his career and all that stuff. But that will be a good bit. I'm guessing that'll be around the fee of £500,000, no more than that, probably. If we do get more than that, that's very good. But it's good money to bring in, maybe invest in future players, including that Onyekuru, is it? The Nigerian boy that Brendan Rodgers is planning on signing, which would be a fantastic signing if he is, to the extent I've been hearing. Apparently he's a very good player, very fast, very quick and all that good jazz. Things I've wrote down to talk about: loans out, Ayer and Christie. This is just wrapping up the transfer window, so actually we'll go to ins first. Abui Kouassi. I can't remember what way around it is. The only signing we've made, isn't it? I'm sure it is. If I've missed one, then I'm sorry, but I believe that's our only signing. Spending £3 million. My thoughts on that: I'm quite surprised that was our only signing, considering everything I heard from the start of the transfer window that Rodgers wanted to start bringing in the signings in January, and then we only land one of them. I was quite surprised at that going into today. I thought we'd have seen 2 or 3 at least brought in, but obviously we only managed to get the Abui one done. In January it is much harder to sign players. Players, if they're doing well, they're not going to want to leave halfway through their season. Teams aren't want to give them up halfway through the season. So it is obviously going to be more difficult. So I think Rodgers is probably just going to wait to the summer. I was listening to the Super Scoreboard the other night, and Rodgers was saying it is just a matter of whether they can sign him now or not. And there was a number of profile signings that he was wanting to make, but obviously just couldn't. So I'm guessing we're going to keep these signings to the summer, or players of similar calibre to bring in to improve our team for European matches and such, which I'm looking forward to seeing. That'll be interesting when we get to the summer. Who do you think Celtic should sign this summer? What positions and what players in general do you think we should sign this summer? Let me know in the comments. Let me know what you think about that. Now, on the outside of things, loan exits is really about it. We've had Ayer leave on loan to Kilmarnock. I'm very happy about that. Because I really do like Christopher Ayer, mostly for the fact he's really good in Football Manager, right? But I really do like Christopher Ayer. He's great for his age. He is fantastic, and he's shown that at Kilmarnock. Kilmarnock fans are raving about him already. Going down there playing a couple of games, he looks as though he'll be getting some first team football, which is good. And I thought he should have got a lot more chance. He's not even had a competitive chance for Celtic this season under Rodgers, which is surprising because in pre-season he came on the Wolfsburg friendly and got man of the match. And Wolfsburg's not an easy game. And then he done really well against Inter Milan, although we were beaten in that match. He done really, really well. And I was surprised he's not been given even a few appearances off the bench. So for the fact that he's getting first team football, I'm glad he's away to Kilmarnock, and hopefully he does well enough down there to get himself a place in the team next season, because I really do want us to utilise him. I think he's a good player and a player that would do really well in our team. So hopefully that happens. Ryan Christie is the second player to talk about. He left on loan to go to Aberdeen. Another good loan exit in my opinion, because I think he needs that first team football to improve. When he has played for Celtic, in my opinion, I don't think he's been too great. I just don't really like Ryan Christie that much enough to say that he should be starting games. So it's good to see him go to Aberdeen, which is still a good team in our league, and getting some football to hopefully come back and play to the best they can. We obviously saw what he could do at Inverness. The reason we signed him was because of how well he done at Inverness for his age, and hopefully comes back to Celtic and plays like a first team calibre player for the future. That's another loan exit I'm very happy about. And finally, Owen O'Connell, surprised he went down to England instead of Kilmarnock, but he went to Walsall on loan. I'm happy about that as well. Once again, just the same reasons, wanting to get first team football and become a star in the future for Celtic, and the way of doing that is getting that loan move, because he's not going to get any first team football this year with the strong partnership of Simunovic and Sviatchenko, and with Dedrick Boyata coming in recently and impressing as well, which has been very surprising. Let's talk about Boyata for a moment. Boyata, and I believe I might have said it in the first episode of the Celtic Transfer Talk, I wanted to leave at the start of the transfer window. I wanted to get rid of Boyata, bring in some extra money. We didn't need him. He was not getting games and he wasn't that good. But this month, he's proved everybody wrong. Well, he's proved me wrong. I was very surprised to hear he was starting a couple of league games. He started obviously in that Albion Rovers match. He done well for what he had to do. Obviously, Albion Rovers didn't attack a lot, they just defended. And in the league games against Hearts and against St Johnstone, he done very well. He actually done really, really well. I enjoyed watching him. He made some good tackles and such, and even got himself a goal against St Johnstone. So, I mean, he's proven that he deserves to stay at Celtic. And to be honest, if he plays like that, keep him at Celtic. Give him a few chances. And I might be being a bit of a hypocrite after what I said about letting him go and getting rid of him and such. But, you know, he's not had the chance to prove anything this season, and now that he has, he's proven me wrong. So I'm willing to see him stay around a little longer. That is really it for this Celtic transfer talk. The news is Dembele's staying. I'm very happy about that. And that Gordon is staying, which is great to see. We'll see what progresses over the next few hours. For all I know, tomorrow I could be making a video saying, geez, oh, that's the whole team gone. But this should be it for the Celtic transfer talk. There should not be any big breaking news to come through in the next 5 hours, I'm expecting anyway. I've not heard anything on Sky or whatever of Celtic planning anything, so I think it's going to be a quiet rest of the night for Celtic. And back to what we've been doing in domestic football, starting again tomorrow against our game against, who's again, Aberdeen. So hopefully that'll be a win tomorrow to continue our unbeaten run. Guys, if you've enjoyed this video, you know what to do. Hit the like and subscribe button. It would be much appreciated, and I'll see you guys next time.